Hello, welcome back to Bald and Board Games. I'm Bald.
On board.
And we have a review for you of the Gilded Realms by Sandtime Games.
Yes, we just finished our playthrough of this past week, where Sandtime Games actually joined us on stream.
Yeah.
Very fun game. We're going to dig in, though, and go over, is it perfect, or is it just okay?
Those are the only options.
There's others.
There's like the top.
Those are the new options.
Almost Perfect's been there. Perfect's been there since invention.
No, only once. We haven't seen it in a while.
Still, it's been there. So if this is your first time watching our reviews, we do review games individually, and then we take those averages to get our final Bald and Board Games score. And we do it over a couple different categories. We're going to do it over the actual storage of the game, the rule box, the rule book,
That's
the rule book, the components, which is what everything is made out of, the design, which is what everything looks like, and the gameplay. There is a sixth category, but this is not a game that has any kind of story specifically to it, so we're not going to grade it on story. And then the final score of the Bald and Board Games, collective of all that, is going to determine if this is a don't play, the newly added just okay, a must play, potentially a perfect.
Yeah, and you'll see here in July, we, as Nick just mentioned, we launched a new kind of tier setup. Mm-hmm. So based on how many stars you get from 0 to 5, every half point included, mm-hmm. You'll fall within different scales. So instead of just being must play or don't play, we've added some fun things.
Yeah, we had a lot that were falling into certain categories and didn't feel very truthful to exactly how we felt. The math is mathing out to about where we felt, but not the actual certification that we're giving it at the end. All right, ready to kick it off with storage?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, so storage here for Gilded Realms. As you can see here, this is partial storage because there is a lot of boards on the game, or in the game, that'll stack up on top of this. Mm-hmm. But pretty much storage is this. You have 2 sets of resource trays. One's on the table right now, that'll just go right there. You have a long thing where all the different cards stack in, and some of the chips and tokens and dice just all lay in here. And then all the boards just stack on top with the rule books on top of that. For me, resource tray, great. There's 2 of them, so if you're playing a 2-player game, we each get one. If you're playing a 4-player game, each half of the table gets one. They nicely break out the different types of resources that you'll gain throughout the game. So that part of storage is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. This tray, annoying AF.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of cards that are the exact same size, but they all do different things.
Yep.
So when you store the game, you want to be able to have all of those separate, so you can easily take them out, put them in their piles. This does not give you the opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. I actually did it where I had to break up, like, put these face down like this, slide them against one set of cards, and put some dice in between to like kind of break out the different stacks.
Yep.
So for me, I'm going to give storage a flat 3. It does some things really good, some things really not good, so it's just okay.
All right. So storage is usually where I'm the big stickler on this. So I agree. I love this. I love this especially because it gives you 2 of them, so you can have one at each end of the table. Phenomenal. I love that everything fits in here flush. There's a lot of little things that go in here, and this top fits on flush. Can you give me that right there? This is amazing. This is part of the storage that goes in here. That's also functional. It comes out, sits on the table, keeps all these organized. You don't need to put these in bags to take them out, to stack them around the table. Absolutely amazing. This sucks the biggest ass. Mm-hmm. I hate it so much. Sure, it's nice that it all fits in there, but the fact that we have cards that are added later in the game if you play a longer game, you have solo cards, you have more components, which end up in baggies, which I hate. These components are also specific to houses. These cards, a lot of them are specific to houses. I would have liked to have seen storage where each house can be separated into its own spot. So that way, when you go to play, you can just grab the houses out. So hopefully that's going to come in their big box edition that's coming now, but we're not reviewing that. We're reviewing this one. So because of all that, it gets a 3.5 from me.
And yes, to clarify, as Nick just mentioned, we are reviewing the base game as it is. Some of these are deluxe components, but they are releasing a big box version later, potentially this year, I think.
I don't think none of these are. Nothing is.
None of these are deluxe. These are just all base version.
There was no deluxe.
So these are all base version.
Yeah, they didn't have any deluxeification for the game.
Okay.
That's coming in the next
in the big box, yeah.
version of it.
So if we get that, we'll end up doing another review of that version. But there is obviously different things that will change.
Yep. Just so you guys know as well, I don't think we mentioned this at the top of the video, we are rating on a scale out of 5.
I did.
Did you? Okay,
Yeah.
I missed it.
Typical.
I don't believe them. Alrighty. So now we have the rule book, which is a bunch of different things. So we have the actual rule book itself here. Are we down on the shot on the table? Good. So the actual rule book itself here, how this reads, how it's organized, how easy it is to refer back to for information if need be. We have the various player aids. So we have this aid here, which is the build, action, event phase. It goes over here. And then the backside, it goes over the campaign stuff. So really condensing the rulebook down to this player aid. And then you also have your aids for the knowledge. Those tiles I showed you earlier, there's a lot of them. So there is this that goes over each of them. On the backside, it shows you your upgrade tiers for the different provinces in the game.
Not providences.
Not provinces. So for the rulebook, there's a couple of things that we had issues with, but it's with the player aid, not mentioning certain things, like not mentioning in here where you can put your stuff into your what's it called?
Hinterland.
Hinterland. And then I forgot what was the other thing that was missing.
There's 2 other free actions.
There's 2 other free actions you can do as well that aren't mentioned on here anywhere. This, I love. This is so easy to refer to, very to the point, easy. Even this back here, if you want to know exactly what you're trying to level up to try and progress down what track based on your needs, you can look here and be like, okay, I need to push here to really maximize benefit there. So like if you wanted to really maximize getting a variety of resources, push your township up here to level 1, 2, to level 3, and you'll be getting some sort of resource every single time. Like I'm already planning next time we play. The rulebook itself was an easy read. There's great reference in the back for each of the factions and how they work. They also have the knowledge reference again for you. There wasn't anything in here that felt like it was missing. We did not go through the solo concept, so we can't really comment on that. But everything else was very, very clear. The only flubs that we had, I think, during gameplay were assumptions we made that were corrected on stream, but it wasn't anything to do with the rulebook. So because of the missing components with this player aid, because this is really what you have out and you're referring to over and over again, everyone has this, this should be your Bible. You should only have to go to this to, one, learn the game, and then to really look deeper into it if need be. But because this is incomplete, I give it a 4.5.
All right. So, for me, we'll start with the actual rulebook itself. Yes, this covers a lot of good information. We went through it once with our rulebook rundown video and kind of a generic gameplay we did off stream.
Yep.
I love the key concepts. It covers a lot of the fun areas that aren't specifically called out anywhere else. It goes through all your phases and everything very clearly. Playing around, build phase, action phase, etc. Everything is there. Has some artwork, cool. And then other game concepts. So it covers a lot of the upfront questions you would have when learning the game right here. So I do love that. To Nick's point, yes, there was 2 major things missing in this. The dotted line where it's supposed to say you can put your cards in your hinterland and then discard any cards remaining in your hand. And then where this buy goods is, there's supposed to be 2 other free actions, which are being able to trade with other players at the table, as well as being able to build any part of your province at any time, which is a major VP earning part of the game. So knowing when to build a province is something useful that should have been on here.
Yep.
This was great. Goes over the different knowledge tokens that you can earn and place out. Levels 1, 2, and 3. On the back, goes over those province tiers, telling you exactly what you'll get as you go up them, so you can plan 2-3 moves ahead on what you want to do. So I agree. I'm going to give this a 4.5.
All right. Next up, we have the components. And again, the components are what everything is made out of, not the specific look of them, but the material itself. What this is made out of: the boards, the cards, the tokens, the yada yada, the yada yada, yada yada.
Yeah, so as you can see from the zoomed out view, there are a lot of components.
Yep.
So you have, we'll start with the resources. So you have little supply and material resources. Those are great.
Mm-hmm.
They're each little hard wooden tokens. They each are fun little shaped. Don't know why they picked these specific shapes, as this is a supply.
Yeah, I know.
But
No idea.
it works. It's a cool shape.
Yeah.
The gems, the determination, the coins, all cardboard. A bunch of your tokens on your board here, like this and the caravan, are all cardboard. As well as all of these knowledge are cardboard. I personally am not a huge cardboard fan.
Mm-hmm.
I guess as Nick mentioned, they didn't offer deluxe components to get metal coins or for like the gems or whatnot to have. You already made 2 of these. Why not just make a third type that are the gems?
Mm-hmm.
And you can have nice little tokens that are the gems instead of
Like Fire
cardboard.
Tower.
Yeah, plenty of games that have them. So some are good, some are not for a lot of the tokens and those components. Cards here, these are solid. They don't move around. You're not moving them around that much. You're just swapping them as you upgrade. They sit right here on your board. The design I'll cover on how this sits later, which I hate, but
because you have
hands. These cards here don't have the matte finish, but they are fairly sturdy.
We actually just looking. They actually do have that linen finish.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see the glare. Interesting.
Yeah, it has the linen finish.
Okay, because I was like, these shuffle nicely.
That's why they do.
Yeah. So a lot of the cards are great. You have your cards on your game board. You have the cards that you're gaining throughout the game.
These big ones don't have the linen finish. That's
that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And then you have a bunch of other cards elsewhere. Dice, great component, solid color design. And then this is the big hitter. This little stance thing is awesome.
Yeah.
So you have a little sticker on it, top and bottom, that shows your house crest, and it shows you what you're doing, worker, offense, defense, or attack and defend. So overall, for components, I don't think they're perfect. Again, I'm not a fan of there's so much cardboard, but I'll give this a 4.
All right. Components. So biggest pet peeve with cards that are being shuffled is definitely whether or not they have that linen finish, which these do. And these are the ones that are primarily being shuffled. Everything else vaguely gets shuffled at the beginning of the game, but that's it. So phenomenal there. The provinces, sure, linen would have been nice, but it's not needed. You're not shuffling them. You're barely moving them. So those are not going to get dinged up while you play. So that's okay. I don't mind that those don't have that finish there, which probably saved a good chunk of change. The dice, nice dice, solid. So the material, the supply over here, I like that these are nice wooden, pieces. The boards themselves all feel sturdy. I like that they're modular boards. So that way you're not having to worry about breaking something, trying to put it away. That was smart. This too. Same issue with these pressboard cardboard pieces. The coins. Coins are such a major factor in this game. Should have been a deluxe upgrade at least to get some sort of metal coin for those. So a little disappointed that that wasn't the case. The gems, like you said, same thing. Gems, sure, great artwork, but component-wise, why not have these be those resin, plastic gems, or even more wooden, anything different than this round gem thing. And then the other tokens as well. I can let the knowledge things pass because they're organized neatly. They're not going to get moved around or busted up or anything like that. But yeah, not a fan of the cardboard pieces either. It definitely brings it down a notch, makes it feel a little bit cheaper. What brings it back up, like you said, is definitely the stance indicators here. This was actually the selling point for me getting the actual game when I did. Because everything else, like, oh, that's cool, everything seems cool and all that. And then, but like this secret, like, okay, after you do everything, I'm going to be doing this, and then revealing, and it being attack or defend or, you know, putting your workers to work. I think that is such a phenomenal and unique idea. And this is a nice plastic that turns. You did put the stickers on yourself. You had to put a little piece in the middle here with a sticker on it as well. But it's very easy to put together. This feels very sturdy. Like, I don't feel like I can just pull this bottom off, which is great. So components for me, despite the cardboard, definitely get a 4. I think it would have been a 4.5 if we would have at least had metal coins. That would have put it up one more notch for me.
Yeah.
So 4.
All right, our fourth category is now design.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the main center game board, the player boards, all the cards and pieces, how do they look? Are they attractive? Are they not attractive?
Well, I'm not going to have sex with it. All right. So design is one of my favorite things about this game. The artwork that went into this game is gorgeous. The fact that your provinces, as you upgrade them, upgrade as well. So on my board here, you can see this is a very basic one, right? It's empty. Oh. But then as you upgrade them, you can see they slowly get added to, and they increase in their complexity. That whole design, and they keep the same panorama here. So clearly they're upgrading the middle sections, that way the edges can still connect. Great, great, good design. Love that. The iconography, very easy to understand. The different houses all look very unique. Design-wise, when talking about gameplay, and we'll touch on how the game plays itself, but the design part of it, every house seems so different. Down to, like, some houses have this extra insert or a board. Like this, I just put this out to demonstrate, but no one's played as these people. But the fact this has a market looks like so much fun. It's so different than everything else, which is amazing. The understanding of things that correlate is very simple as well. Like this bright red number, you understand correlates to, on the main board in the middle, the bright red numbers, where in the middle? on the middle here as well for certain events that take place. The design of the dice as well, having this 4 be this nice, just kind of fancy looking 4, which I will never be able to roll, is amazing. And it feels special
during the
when you roll.
invasion.
Yeah.
For them.
And then everything on the die is easy to understand. Reroll. Got it. Boom, boom. Success, success. True marks. Amazing. Design for me gets a 5 out of 5. It is spectacular and so much fun to look at.
All right. Yeah, so I'll comment some of the same points. I do love, the panorama version here of the 5 provinces, and as you upgrade them, they get better and better. We just saw this with another recent game we played by All Play, where as the upgrades were happening, +1, +2, +3, the image got more complex and more filled in, which was fun. All of the little cards that you earn are fun too. So you have it set up where you can play this card one of 2 ways. It says town. It has a picture of a town in it. It didn't just, like, you have this symbol, which corresponds to some of the symbols on your board. They could have just had that town with that symbol. But they actually put a little extra time in to actually make a town symbol. The swordsman, they didn't just have a picture of the sword. They actually have a picture of a swordsman. And if I were to take another unit, here, the cavalry. This one's actually a cavalry, so it's not like they just copy and pasted the unit. So it makes it look a little bit more time-consuming on their end for the design, but worth it on our end to play the game. The design of all of these are kind of fun. Like Advanced Cavalry has a picture of a horse on it with the red die, indicating you're going to get the red die to be able to roll instead of the blue die. So they took a little extra effort there to add in pictures for everything. So that definitely is a huge boost in design. The design of all of these are kind of fun. Like Advanced Cavalry has a picture of a horse on it with the red die, indicating you're going to get the red die to be able to roll instead of the blue die. So they took a little extra effort there to add in pictures for everything. So that definitely is a huge boost in design. The coin design's fine. I'm not going to dock it for it, but it's a basic coin. I don't remember my Latin, so I don't know what this says. But it's a cool coin. It has a cool symbol. They didn't just take some generic old symbol and put it on here. So I appreciate that. So yeah, I think
I'm like Viking runes.
It might be Viking runes. So I think overall, the last thing I'll say is I agree the houses are kind of the big hitter that make this a 5 for me, which every house is different. They all have cool designs. Like this house here is like vampires, which I never would have thought would be in this game specifically, but they added it in. So the fact that you have all these cool different houses and their own thing going on and the artwork looks great, definitely a 5.
Nice. 5 on it. Alrighty. And finally, we have the gameplay.
Yes.
Gameplay. Oh, sorry. Before we jump into that, one more thing that I do want to point out. It's a very small thing, but it's a touch that I do appreciate. Is on the player boards, under the action phase, you have exploit by knowledge, and it tells you, okay, feed population and fortify. Next to feed population and fortify, they have little white arrows that point you in the direction of where that action is. Smallest touch in the world, but amazing. If you're like feed population, oh right, or like okay, it's over here, just to like direct you in all this stuff. More games need to have more references on the game boards in a tasteful way like this, so you don't have to go back to a rulebook or even to a player aid. So you're just looking at this like, okay, where is that? That's what it is. Love it. Okay, gameplay.
Yeah, right. So gameplay. So I'll give the quick bullet point overview. The way the game works
It
is...
sucks, I'm kidding.
I have a house, Nick has a house, as we explained. Each of our houses have our own abilities, but the overall objective is the same. You're gaining VP. So there's a bunch of different ways to gain VP. Most of it's gaining gems and upgrading your provinces. As you can see in the middle here, there are year events. So in the epic game, which is the longer version, you play through 12 turns. In a normal size game, you play through 9 turns. So you go through your whole phase. You can do a bunch of different actions. You can move workers and... Not move workers. No workers. Move army units into your army. You can move buildings down into your territory, and they give you different benefits to upgrade your province and other things. You can buy the different knowledges. You can, get supply and the materials as resources, or spend those to help feed population, a bunch of other things. So a bunch of cool actions. So every turn is a little bit different on like what your strategy is, what you're focusing on. If your opponent goes down one route, you can go down a different route, which is nice and still get close to the same score at the end. For my opinions on it, overall, I enjoyed the game, for sure. It was a lot of fun. We had a very close game in the end. Again, I like the focus where I don't have to play the exact same game he plays, where we each have 5 provinces. You can focus on just military or just agriculture and still be able to get the job done. Did not like the caravan. That is one aspect of the game we talked about live on stream with the creators that just seemed a little useless. And it might have been the way we played the game as a 2-player game versus a 3 or 4-player game. But it didn't seem like it was worth it to spend my resources to send a caravan out where I had to wait to the complete end of the next turn to get anything out of it. Although, yes, I would get a token up top as well as silver. But it just seemed like a big waste of that set of resources because you have to give 4 up. Everything else, to me, was fair and balanced. The knowledge is great that you can pick, do I want to focus on attacking or defending here? That in order to face some of these, we'll call them table events that happen every round, you might need certain knowledges. So that was kind of interesting where, oh, wait, I want to be able to attack that. Nope, I need to buy this first. So you have that like prerequisite aspect, which I thought was fun. The only...
Sorry, can you hand me the rulebook really quick? I just want to look at something while you continue.
The only other thing about this middle year event structure is there's a lot of invasions and looming threats. So a looming threat... Can I get lucky? No, there's an invasion, though. Nope. There we go. So a looming threat will show right there. In year 7 here, is, okay, I know what I have to do. It's a basic skill check. I can take 4 military units to try to get 9 or higher on the dice. Any modifiers I have to do is before the dice roll, which to me I'm not a big fan of. I prefer to be like, oh, I rolled an 8. Okay, here, I'm going to use a determination token to guarantee that 9th. I don't like that I have to spend my tokens up front before the roll, specifically against the AI attack here in the middle of the board. For invasions, you're potentially, if you don't get rid of these looming threats fast enough, the invasions are going to take you out. And I played this game going into it, oh, this is a competitive game. It kind of isn't 100% competitive because you have to work together to get rid of these looming threats so the invasion doesn't murder you. And yes, there was an opportunity where I was like, oh, I'll let the invasion attack because I know I am more defensively situated than Nick is. Mm-hmm. So you can use it in that way, but you're still getting hit. So I wish that they did something a little bit different where it was 100% competitive if an invasion happened, where I wasn't relying on my opponent potentially helping me get rid of that looming threat to do what I wanted to do to survive. Mm-hmm. So overall gameplay, again, a lot of fun. I would bring it back. I want to try the other houses. I'm going to give it a 4. The few differences were minor things. Again, the creators kind of made some comments that they're looking to improve it in their next version anyway. But again, I definitely enjoyed it.
All right. Lots to cover. So cover the basics of how it plays and everything.
Yeah.
So things that I love, I really like this building track. This is something that's also in Mythwind, where you put something down and Mythwind events cause things to get built. Here, each thing slowly gets built in there. So you can try to plan ahead by getting things onto this track. Great. The houses are so much fun to play. Each one so far we played has been very unique and different. Love that. The biggest part here, I love the upgrading of the provinces because you can really choose a path to focus on and try to push it right to the end. Getting your resources, getting whatever you need to try and get that going. That is a lot of fun. The using population or sacrificing your population to push more builds, actually working them harder, and which makes you more vulnerable to the stuff on the board here, I think is a phenomenal idea. That's that test your luck sort of thing. The cards, the fact that when you get these, you have to choose, okay, which side am I going to build? What's going to be more important to me? And that's what you're stuck with as it goes down. I think that is a great decision that you have to make. And this game is a lot of decision making, weighing this or that. I like the randomness of the year event track. I think that's fun because there are ways to look ahead to get some knowledge, to try and prepare, to get the upper hand in that way. I agree that I wish... So what I like about the invasions, we both suffer when there's an invasion, period. Like that invasion happens, these dice are rolled. It's like, okay, 2 plus 3 plus 9 plus if this bastard's still around, that's how difficult that is. We each have to deal with it ourselves based on how we have built up our fortifications and army in our own kingdoms. But I agree that with the looming threat, that should be something that we both individually have to take care of ourselves. To where the rewards on here are rewards we both can get for trying, not one or the other, and saying, hey, if you defeat this, you'll get boom, boom. And we both can get that. So then that evens out the odds, right? Okay, you beat that, you get those 2 gems. If I beat it, I also get the 2 gems. If you decide to ignore it, then when this comes, specifically your kingdom is screwed. And that's your fault.
Yeah.
Not because neither of you could manage to defeat it. So that's one thing I don't enjoy. I don't like the co-op portion of this. And I love co-op games, but I think that there's a fine line you need to draw when you have a competitive game that has co-op aspects. And this is a scenario where that aspect doesn't work based on what you're trying to do in the rest of the game. the randomness of these cards is nice on one hand, but also can completely screw you on the other hand. So for instance, Board kept getting all of these manners. So he was able to upgrade his influence track very quickly. And because of that, he always got to go first. And because of that, he always got first dibs on the looming threats when they were weaker, which did put him ahead with resources and such early on. And I had to figure out a different path around that. So that's something I don't particularly enjoy because that's not anything that I can control. It's not a mistake that I made that I'm suffering the consequences of. That's purely luck of the draw, which doesn't feel good. The caravan, we haven't really explored, but that's part of the problem. Hasn't seemed like we should. Hasn't seemed like we need to. Unfortunately, with the caravan, yes, there are these tokens. Where are we at? So there are these tokens that you can get for completing the caravan. But those tokens activate when you get them and only when you do another caravan. And the really decent ones add to that threat level for when invasion happens. So the caravan feels primarily negative. If you got this benefit during every harvest season, that would make the caravan worth it. Because that's where you're saying, you know what? I will risk the 4 threat to get a gem every single turn. That's worth not using your resources to push this down or to do this to try and lock in this stuff. Because then also, that lets you look ahead to what's coming the next year to try and plan for that. You know, something of that sort. That may still be broken in a sense, but there needs to be a benefit to weigh the risk of not having supplies and the risk of that looming threat. Because honestly, the one time I did do caravan, I touched these two, and that was it. I wasn't touching those because of that big red number on there. Wasn't worth it. But the game is a lot of fun to play, and really play with 2 players. With more than 2 players, it's probably even more so because you're really competing for everything. The resource management is a lot of fun. I suck at rolling dice. If you've watched any of our playthroughs, you know that Nick rolling is a phrase that we've coined here and with our gaming group because when I roll dice, I roll terribly, typically. So
that's accurate with that roll. That's the best dice in the game.
Yep, exactly. My other gripe, and we kind of mentioned this on the stream also, is the quest system. That you can't just keep completing quests. That you have one quest that you're given at the beginning. I like that it sets you ahead in one way. It creates an asymmetry. And then you try and complete it by the 6th year here. And if you do, by the time that happens, cool, you get the benefits. I would much rather prefer that each house started ahead in some way and started with resources in some way, and that there was just a queue, almost like a notice board, of quests in general. And the first person to complete one of those quests took that and got the benefit from it. Because now you have that whole aspect where you're racing to complete these quests. That's also something else that would make potentially these looming threats more meaningful. Sure, maybe we don't have to individually complete it, but maybe one of the quest objectives is to be the first person to defeat a looming threat. Or to have defeated a looming threat. Like you have to have that in your bank. Something. Anything of that sort. So, gameplay for me on this. God damn. I have to give it a 4. Because it is a lot of fun. Despite everything I said, it is something that I am excited to play once we finish playing. Like we discussed, and this, like last game came down to, it was a 2-point difference in the end, and we each made a choice to where it could have ended in a tie or a 1-point difference based on making or not making a choice.
Yeah.
Should
have been a 1 point.
That's
stupid
really,
and left 4 gold here, didn't.
That's really fun. But yeah, so I give it a 4 because it is a lot of fun. There are more positives than negatives. There's always going to be things in games that we wish things did better. And they may at some point, who knows? But yeah, it is definitely one of the more fun games that we have that I am very looking forward to getting back to the table with other people.
All right. So again, that's our thoughts individually. What we'll do now is talk about each category again real quick of the combined bald and board game score for each of those categories. Then we will give our individual scores and tell you combined where on that 5-point scale bald and board games puts Gilded Round.
Mm-hmm. So right now he's going to go through because he's a math whiz and he's getting the averages for each of us and the combined score for bald, just like that, huh?
Math whiz.
Yep. Freaking computer over here. Okay.
Gotta do something right, Mike.
So first off, we're starting with storage. Again, that is the box that everything is stored in.
Thanks for clarification.
So I gave it a 3.5. Board gave it a 3, which means our bald and board game score for storage is a 3.
For the rule book, I gave this a 4.5. Bald also gave this a 4.5. It was near perfect. It was a great rule book. There was a few little things on that player aid that just weren't there that made us always have to remember what those steps were, which if it was on there, it would have been a 5. But Bald and Board Games gives rulebook a 4.5.
Okay. For components, I give it a 4. Board give it a 4. Therefore, Bald and Board Games gives it a 4.
All right. For the design, how everything looked, that's their big hitter.
Yep.
If we bring the box over and show the inside of the box even, they put artwork. And no, they didn't. My bad.
What's the wrong one? Which one's the one with the artwork?
Yeah, stupid.
Stupid.
That's hilarious. My bad. It's inside of a box. The front of the box looks great.
It does.
So
that's amazing. You're so dumb. I was like,
fake out.
I was like, what?
I knew. I just looked at a box that had artwork on it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try that again. For design, the look of everything.
What actually matters?
Yes, all of the game, all of the cards, everything. They did a phenomenal job. Perfect 5s across the board for both Bald and I, so therefore Bald and Board Games gives design a 5.
For gameplay, I'm going to get the box back over here because the game goes in this box in here where there's no artwork. So, gameplay. There are a lot of things that we wish were done differently. That maybe they did test and they found out didn't work to their liking. We don't know, we weren't there. But in the end, the game that they came out with, I give it a 4. Board give it a 4. So Bald and Board Games gives it a 4.
All right. So now
Alrighty.
we'll go over. So all 5 categories. There was no story here for our 6th category. So all 5 categories combined. Our final score as Board, but as merged them as Board. I give Gilded Realms by Sandtime Games a 4.
And I gave Gilded Realms by Sandtime Games a 4.
Which means, therefore,
Bald and Board Games gives The Gilded Realms by Sandtime Games a 4 out of 5, which makes it
a consistent category we've had all along in our review videos, which is...
Wow, your mouth
yeah, I know.
sucks.
It is a certified must-play.
Board Games must play. Absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely, get it to the table. It's
Yes.
fun with 2 players, probably more fun with 3 and 4.
Yep.
Try out the different houses, try different strategies on what to focus on. We'll definitely play again with our friends off stream.
For sure. Yeah, and we're following their campaign that they are getting ready to launch shortly here. So if you're interested in the Gilded Realms, if you missed it the first time around, they are doing a second printing and they are upgrading a lot of things. A lot of the issues that we had component-wise, you didn't even touch on the cards sliding around, which is one of your issues that you had with the provinces.
Yeah, I know.
But they are they're allowing you to upgrade to have trays for these cards as well, which aren't necessarily needed, but they're helpful for someone like board here, who
They move around a lot.
moves around. Yeah, there's trouble with anything that moves around. But they have like an upgraded caravan coming as well. So instead of a token, it's an actual little plastic thing that goes on it that you put the actual resources in when you put them over there. So they're doing a lot of things of that sort. So definitely check them out. I believe they're going to be up on GameFound. You can probably search Gilded Realms and find out, or Stand-Up Games. If you see this, leave a comment below for everybody who watches this. But yeah, Gilded Realms it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a must play. It is one of those ones that definitely deserves the score that it got. If there's those little things that were adjusted, this probably would have been. It is very close to being our second perfect game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just despite there's just those few things that missed the mark. So close.
Definitely.
And then for everyone who's watching as well, if you're wondering how we average those out, again, I don't know if you mentioned this top of the video or not, but we don't take the actual average. We go by halves and wholes. So if you don't make it to the next half or the next hole, then we do round down to that next half or hole for where you're at, which is how we end up with our 4s across the board and our total 4.
Yep.
Yeah. But if you like this and if you want to see more of our review videos, we do have more of these on our channel. So go find that playlist and check out some other ones. If there's some review videos you want to see us do for games we have played, then let us know in the comments what you would like to see. We do enjoy doing these. If there's any review videos you want us to do for games that maybe we haven't put up yet, definitely let us know. We'll try to get those games, get them to the table, get our whole shebang of playthrough and stuff done for them, and then ultimately the review video as well. Yeah. But we do have a lot of things coming this year from Kickstarter, GameFound, and whatnot.
A lot of things.
Right now, for July, we are in our Kingdom Builder month. So the Gilded Realms was the first game in that theme for the month. We do have a tournament going on as well. We're playing My City, Roll and Build. It's a year-long tournament. We're playing a different game every single month.
Yep, those are also here on YouTube, the little mini tournament. Our next event, right after this, 4 days after this video goes live, is Stupor Monday. We'll be playing live on Twitch Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then the following week it'll be up on YouTube here. But if you want to join us, join us in on Twitch. We're there. We're always hanging out with chat, talking about different games, and our Instagram will give you all the information.
Yeah. So the video will be going up on YouTube in a couple of days. We will have already played that by the time you see this video. So.
Yep, that's right. I forgot my weeks.
Yep. It's all good.
What week was what.
Review videos go up on Sundays. You can check our Instagram out at Bald and Board Games for our schedule for release videos on what day that we do. But every Thursday, as Board said, we do stream live on Twitch at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then Saturdays as well at 1 p.m. or around 1 p.m. where we typically do our campaign game or we play whatever new game may have come in.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Bald and Board Games for our review of the Gilded Realms by Sandtime Games. I am Bald.
And I'm Board.
And we'll see you
in the
pristine mountains.